they'll think #2 team, how much can they win by? But on your side, you've shown the ability to play with good teams and come close to upsets, just fall short. So what do you have to do to close the gap, not only physically but mentally, to get the guys in position to win a game like this?
Yeah, I mean, I think really it's, you wish as a coach there was like a magic speech you could give them, or you had some special PowerPoint that you could give them. And at the end of the day, it really just comes down to what we're talking about, the execution of some of the things that we're doing. And there's no doubt. I mean, everybody across the country is going to turn the TV on, wanting to watch Cincinnati. And they've been a storyline, and they've earned that right to do that. And for us, it's an opportunity for people to get to see us. And my goal and our goal as a team is for them to see the best version of us, because we do feel, even though we're not pleased with our record, there's a heavy level of confidence and optimism in our locker room that we're coming, and that we're really, really close. And at some point, there's going to be a breakthrough. And man, you couldn't pick a better night to be Friday night against one of the best teams in the country for that to happen. Now, that's a good thought. Now, for that to happen, what do we need? We need great practice, great preparation, and everybody to be at their best coaching and playing. And so that's really where the focus is. And, you know, that's why our guys are excited. Last week, same thing, playing Houston. They won 7 in a row, top 20 team. And at the end of the day, you know, it's about, you know, being able to finish a few of those plays and you know, being able to make the plays in the second half whenever you have the lead to finish and get that victory.
And I know you've spoken about this too, about, you know, you really feel like there's something out there for this team here, you know, to do, and that's based on a team that's practiced earnestly and puts in effort and is doing all the right things. You still feel that way, that there's a destiny here for these guys?
I feel more confident in that than I did last week, if I could say that. I mean, again, there's no consolation prizes and moral victories, and there's none of that going on. But what I do know, and again, I've been a part of this in 2008, 2009, 2010 at Clemson, in the early years. You know, you see signs before you actually, you know, it takes off completely on the field. And you know, we got a lot of seniors. I met with a lot of the seniors this week. A lot of guys that we were given an opportunity for them to come back, and you know, I'll let them all make their decisions and make it known in the past and all that. But I can just say this: it was unanimous, individually in the one-on-one meetings with these guys that have been here for 4 or 5 years. I mean, they all. I mean, it was like just the exact same message from all of them, that they know that we're close and they want to be back next year. They want to finish this year, and then they want to be back next year to really, you know, see it completely take off for a full season. So it's not just me trying to, you know, keep guys positive and just finish the year and then figure out. I mean, there's a real, and I would hope that somebody objectively could turn on the TV and watch the first half of the game last week. I'm not sure you knew which team won 7 in a row and which team's coming off a very difficult season. To me, that's the biggest compliment that I can give to our guys right now is, you know, they haven't allowed the discouragement and difficulties of the beginning of the season affect how hard they work and how hard they come out and play. And if you can have that, like that allows you to be able to take the next step. But when you're this way, right, and up and down, then it just, you know, you're a lot further away. So we're not there yet. We're getting closer. It's frustrating. We all want it to be right now. But the reality is, when you're developing a program for a long term, it's a little bit longer than when you're just trying to build a team and you know, do whatever you can do to win in 1 year. And so I think even though we're disappointed with the record, there's a lot of internal optimism for how we can have the opportunities we're going to have to finish this season and beyond.
You're playing another top 15 defense this week, but 70s in the 70s against the rush. Is that going to be primarily kind of your plan of attack this week, or are you going to try and push the pace and throw the ball?
Oh man!
Without giving away your game time.
Yeah, so we can meet off record on that. I mean, yeah. I mean, ultimately, when you turn on the video, you don't see a lot of weaknesses. I mean, this is a really talented defense. I mean, their defensive front is incredible. Their linebackers, I mean, they're big. They're really good all the way around. I think for us, yes, that's part of our job as coaches. Is like, all right, where are the best matchups for us? What do we need to do to create opportunity? That's one thing that I'm really pleased with Coach Weiss and our offensive staff. they've done a good job of being creative this year and creating. We haven't always executed some of the plays, but if you watch us closely, you're not seeing just the same thing each week, just lining up and just running the same plays. You're seeing some creativity and things that you need to do when you're playing good defenses. And so, our staff's worked extremely hard coming up with a good plan, and we got to coach it, teach it. We got a short week of three practice days to go out and execute it, and ultimately that's what it's going to come down to. But there's not, I'll be honest, there's not a glaring weakness out there. I think part of that, you got to look at some of the teams they played. Navy's a predominantly running team, and Tulsa, really committed to the run pretty heavy last week. So, and again, I've said this before, when you can't throw the ball, then then most people start running the ball. So you got to kind of be cautious of that a little bit too. I think that's probably more of a compliment to their pass defense than it is anything about their run defense.
Any injury updates, John?
Injury updates.
Hill.
Who?
Hill.
Hill. Yeah, Hill will be questionable. Outside of that, no, nothing really glaring on one way or the other. But yeah, Matt Hill's the only one that'll probably be questionable at this point. It's still Tuesday, so we got a few days left there.
How important is it, Jeff? This is mainly used in baseball, but in baseball there's a phrase, stay within yourself.
Yeah.
Don't go out there and try to hit a home run if you're not a home run here.
Yeah.
How important is that to this team to tell them and say, okay, don't try and be Superman.
Yeah.
Just go out and be who you are and do it right.
You got our locker room bug right there. That was part of my message last week. Was we don't need to do any super thing, out of body experience, performance to have a chance to win. We just really need to be the best version of ourselves, and we have some guys that have worked extremely hard, and that's really all I want them to do is be the best version of them. But you're exactly right. I think where you make a mistake is you start pressing, right? That's what I have to tell Timmy a little bit. Like, hey, look, you got a chance to really have a big impact on the outcome of this game, but we just need you to drive the car. We don't need you to try to go make the throw and the catch for the wideout, or to be able to go make every play down the field. You just do your job, and everybody be committed to doing that. And again, it's not something we're telling the guys and hoping that they may see. I mean, these guys have seen it. It's not like we haven't performed. We just haven't done it for 4 quarters, ultimately. But you can go back and outside of the first game against NC State, I really think since that game there's been at least 2 quarters, and again, it's, like we said, 4th top 20 team, where we've shown that whenever we're executing, we can compete with anybody on our schedule, and I believe that same can be said for this Friday, but we have to do it for 4 quarters. But that's a great point. We don't need guys pressing and trying to do things outside of what we're asking them to do or what they're capable of doing.
Obviously, after Battie returned his 2, Houston changed the way it kicked. Do you think, with everybody knowing this happened now, that you have an advantage here on field position, and you may get these pooches? And
yeah, I got no idea. Usually what happens in these situations is, especially when you've got really big, fast, strong guys like Cincinnati does, you look at it as a challenge, right? The special teams coordinator gets up there and, by golly, we're kicking it right to him, and we're going to knock him down at the 5-yard line. That's usually, you see that more, and then after, they do it a couple times. If it's successful, they keep doing it. If it's not, then you adjust. I don't have any idea because I'm not, around them and see how they kind of go about what they do. But I know for us, I want to encourage our guys that, hey, if they do kick it deep, let's make it count, right? Let's be, last week's touchdowns are not going to lead to this week's touchdowns, right? You got to do it all over again, and it's not going to be some surprise now. They're definitely going to be chomping at the bit, and so that means we have to, be prepared to execute at an even higher level. And then, yes, we're also preparing for the squibs and pooches and all those things that typically do come if you're able to prove success again in that game.
Thank you.
All right, thanks guys.